Hi everyone, I have not shared with you since school has begun for us. So summer's over, we're back to school, and it has been quite a change in our home. We've had a lot of changes. First thing is that my kids are now in a group called Classical Conversations. I shared about the reasons why we decided to go this route this year in a previous video over the summer. So if you can go back a couple of videos and watch my explanation as to why we decided to do this. And so far so good. It's been a phenomenal experience. The community is an awesome community, the one that I'm in, and I've just been enjoying it. And it's only been week 2, so 2 weeks for my younger student and the 3rd week for my oldest, because they started a week earlier back to CC. It has been probably one of the most life-changing experiences we've had in our homeschool. Things are more orderly in our home. We are learning together, and it's just, I can't even begin to explain the difference in our home life as a result of having the Classical Conversations curriculum and the community and how we're doing homeschool now. So it's really, really, really different than what I experienced maybe the past couple of years. And when we were enrolled in CC before, I don't think I quite understood what, you know, the whole idea of the classical method, and I don't really think I wrapped my brain around it. Now that I understand it, now that I get it, it's making a lot of sense, and the pieces are coming together. And so it's just been phenomenal. So my youngest daughter is in both Foundations and Essentials. She is my 5th grader. She's 10. She'll be 11 this year. My oldest is in Challenge 3. She is a high school junior, and she has turned 16 and will be graduating within 2 years. So, but today's video is not specifically about our changes in CC, but our changes in math. So I wanted to share some things that we've been doing differently. Now, if you've watched my video about our Classical Conversations curriculum haul, I showed you the Saxon math book that we were planning to work out of this year, because CC does just kind of suggest a Saxon as its, you know, core base program for mathematics. So we were planning to continue using Saxon. We used it last year. We used the 5-4 last year, and so we were going to move on to 6-5. And I already had this from my oldest daughter. We have used Saxon for many years, so it's not our first time around the block with Saxon, and I'm familiar with the program. But somehow or other, as I was flipping through, and you know, I've always known that one of the key tenets of Saxon is that it's a spiral approach. So you start with one topic one day, and then you kind of spiral back to maybe that same topic in a couple of weeks, because it's being reviewed intermittently throughout the review work, but you're getting different topics every day introduced to your child. So it does feel like you're jumping around a lot in introduction to different topics in mathematics. So it's definitely a spiral approach and can feel rather hit or miss. But that wasn't my concern. My main concern was I didn't like the fact that there's really no worksheets. Like, the worksheets that are in the book are the tear out sheets for drill work, like drilling the multiplication, division tables, division problems, or like little manipulatives, like, for example, a pie chart or percentage charts that you might want to cut out and have them work on that, or fractions. That's what I meant, fractions. So those are the only kind of worksheets you have. Otherwise, it just seems a little, it was a lot of work to have my daughter copy the problems from the book onto a notebook paper and do each of the problems, because there are like, what, 30 problems, 25 to 30 problems per lesson. And so of course we were skipping problems. I just didn't like that approach. I was doing a lot of it on the marker board in order to save her the writing time. So what I decided was to look into something that offered the worksheets already, a workbook approach, but more, I wanted to make sure that I liked the program. So we had used Singapore in the past. The workbooks are available. They're easy to just open and go and work on the problem. So I was looking kind of for that workbook setup for mathematics. But we didn't like Singapore. She didn't like Singapore. So what I found that has been working for 2 weeks. It's only been 2 weeks, but this has been working for us. And I have tried this before, many years ago, and it was okay for my oldest daughter, but we didn't stick with it. But for my youngest, I think this might actually work out. So this is Math Mammoth, and what I did was I ordered the digital, and then I printed out what I wanted from the program. So this is the Math Mammoth 5A, and I have 5B somewhere else. So it's pretty thick, right? Because I printed out a lot of the content. I went to Office Max, and using my Classical Conversations discount card was able to get a lot of these printed out and discounted. So what I did, and I will turn the camera around to show you in a moment, but I printed out a little bit of the 4A, 4B. I went ahead and purchased that too, just so that we have review work if there's any concepts we're missing, and I kind of place them in the places where the 5A would be talking about those same topics, just to make sure we got the 4th grade understanding and then have the 5th grade as well. So I'll show you that in just a second. But so far Math Mammoth is working out well, because I think it's kind of a mixture. It's a little bit, it reminds me a little bit of Singapore math, because it's a conceptual program. It makes your student really think about the problems rather than just rote memory. I love rote memory because we got to have the multiplication tables. We got to have these things memorized. So it's good to have that memory jogged as well. But what these problems are doing is making your student really sit down and think about the concept of why they're doing what they're doing. And so I like that about Maria, Maria Miller, who created the Math Mammoth program, and her views on math. I believe she is South African, and they learn mathematics a little bit differently than we did here in the States. And so it's helpful to see math from a different perspective. And so anyway, I have been using this with my daughter, and so far it's going really, really well. We end up doing about 1 lesson per day, about 4 days a week. 3 to 4 days a week, because we skip the day that we do classical conversations. We don't do any math that day, and sometimes we take Fridays off. So between 3 to 4 days a week, we're doing 1 lesson. So she is covering about 3 to 4 lessons per week, and she's made a lot of progress in her understanding of mathematics just in the short 2 weeks we've been doing this. So I am really pleased with Math Mammoth. I like that there's cutouts for the program, so I had these printed out at Office Max as well. So there are, you know, little like I was saying, for Saxon, they have the manipulatives that you can cut out, and that's part of the Math Mammoth program as well. So the fraction sets, and I got them in color just because it's more fun to have some of these in color. But yeah, these are the fraction set cutouts. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you before I flip the camera around and show you a little bit more in depth with Math Mammoth is that we are now using Right Start Math games. So as I was considering math programs, I was leaning heavily toward using the Right Start Math complete curriculum set. But when I found a Math Mammoth, I felt like I should go that route first and see about the Math Mammoth approach, and then using Right Start Math games, because I think the thing that was attracting me the most was the games. So I got the 5th edition math card games, and it says over 300 games for learning and enjoying math. There are some videos. There's a CD that shows you how to play some of the games, and of course it comes with the catalog so you can see what all's available. But this is 300 games and descriptions of how to play them. And then it comes with the cards as well, or you have to purchase the cards, I think. I don't know if it's, I think it's a whole set. Yeah, it comes with the cards. So, of course, I already had my multiplication table cards from CC, but these cards for Right Start Math are different. So what you get envelopes. Okay, I think this is for, I'm not sure which games the envelopes are for. They might be for money. I'm not sure. So we have been using the basic card deck a lot. The basic number card deck. Dropping them. So they have different decks you can use for different types of games. And then, wait, I haven't opened some of these yet because we haven't started these games. This is the fraction card set. And then we have the money card set. Another multiplication card deck set. This one just looks like an extra basic cards, perhaps. I'm not really sure what that one is. This is the clock card deck. So when I open this up, it should have some pictures of clocks on them that tell the time, help them with telling time. And I'm not even sure what this one is, but it looks fun. These are cards with numbers on each four corner. So like I said, I haven't used a lot of these yet because school just started and we've only been through the basic card deck for a few games, and we've really been enjoying the games. So what we do is we do a lesson in Math Mammoth, and then we use the multiplication card deck from CC to practice our math facts up to 15. And then we also do the whatever we're doing in classical conversations as far as the memory work for mathematics that week. We're working on that at home. And then at the end of the day, if there's still time, we might whip out a math game, because I don't like to squeeze it all into math time, just because a lot of her focus is going on to filling out her worksheets for Math Mammoth and understanding the concepts here. So if I can follow it up with that, with the game, I will. There are also times, if you've seen my other video about CTC math, that we will pair up the CTC with what we're doing. For example, instead of a math game that day, we might go to the CTC and follow up with the concept. If she needs a little bit more explanation, reiteration about a concept, she doesn't get it, we'll go to CTC math, and then she can watch it. We can also have her print something out and give it to our specialist, since we're still in a charter school. Officially, we're still in the charter school, so she could print out something from CTC math and we can hand that into our educational specialist for that. But for the most part, we're using CTC math for the videos to help her understand concepts better. And the review is really good. Like the quizzes are great, and the scoring, so that I can see visibly that she's understanding even what she's learning in Math Mammoth, because a lot of the content syncs up together. So that's one other way we're using CT. Actually, it's pretty much the only way we're using CTC math. We don't use it as a standalone program. But go back and watch the other video on CTC math if you're interested in that. I believe the giveaway is over now, but there's still the discount for homeschoolers. So there's a link for a discount if you're interested in purchasing CTC, and also there's a free trial so you can try it out and see if it works for your family. I mean, a lot of people don't like digital math programs, and some people love it, and we love it as a fill-in. It kind of is a filler to help reiterate concepts that we're doing. But I like hands-on. When it comes to math, I really like to have my hands on stuff, and I like games, and I like making it fun. So anyway, that's what we're doing. I'm going to flip the camera around quickly. I know this video is getting really long. I'm just going to show you just kind of a walkthrough of what I printed out for Math Mammoth 5A, and then you can get an up-close look at what it looks like for us. Okay, and as you can see, I do not have anything fancy or spectacular as far as my cover goes. I was just in a hurry, so that's my cover for now. Don't have any decor going on here. In the first pocket, I have a couple of envelopes because, I don't know, I guess I was planning on holding some games or manipulatives here once I cut these out. So this is just extra for when I need those manipulatives for fractions. But this is how it looks. This is the work text, and it's the blue series, the light blue series. On Maria Miller's website, mathmammoth.com, you can look at the different series she has, gold series, different colors she uses for different series. And this is the light blue will be your complete curriculum, whereas the others will be like maybe review series or maybe topical series. If you just wanted multiplication, you just wanted fractions or something like that, you could probably just look for a series that only focuses on one concept, I believe. But go to her website just to double check. Don't take my word for it. But I know that the light blue series is a complete work text for a full grade. So we got the 5A, and like I said, this is very, very thick because I do have some 4A and 4B intermittent in between different spots here, so that my daughter will be able to not miss anything from the 4th grade text in case we needed a little bit of review. You have a table of contents, and one thing I like about a program, because it is a PDF, all these things are linked. So if you want, like all of this, these are all links to games and online activities that your kids can do to help reiterate concepts they're learning in that particular chapter. Every chapter, before it gets warmed up, before it gets started, will have links that you can go to. Click on any of these. That's why getting the PDF is really cool, because you can just click on it. It takes you directly to the link. But I did print these out, of course. But clicking on it makes it way easier than typing these in, because some of these are very, very long URLs. But let's say you're working on order of operations. Here are some order of operations games that your child can play online, and these are all free resources that she found and compiled for parents. Okay, so that's at the beginning of every chapter. And then it gets straight into it. So this is a work text. The way a work text works is that, and I love this because, I'm just reading, I'm visibly or visually showing my daughter each of these concepts as I'm reading it to her and explaining each thing to her. And then I'll have her sit here and work these. So the instructions are within the context of the work page, the worksheet, if that makes sense. There's not a separate teacher's guide or teacher's manual, although there is a solutions manual, but there's not a teacher's guide per se. I mean, everything is here that you need to read with your student, or your student can read independently, depending on how well they work independently. I like to get in there with my daughter and have her and read with her. Okay, so as you see, I have some things that I wanted to skip because I feel like she already understands it. But a lot of this, the way it's laid out, is visual pictures. I love the color, and it just kind of really helps the child to see things visually. Again, you have 30 times 50, and then you're able to see that in full color, and then there's a full explanation on the side here. So I like that, and I like that, the concept is introduced, and then there's a short practice right after what you've just learned. And then as far as, is it a spiral program? I don't think it's spiral at all. I think it's more of a mastery based program. But the thing is that if you don't get enough in the review, at the end of the chapter reviews, you can always order additional review workbooks from Math Mammoth to review additional things. So she has extra review work if you need that. But it's all intermittent here. The concepts are introduced and they're explained one at a time. Each step of how to do certain specific problems is introduced a little at a time. So you start getting into place value and multiplication, long division, rounding. This is just the basic first part of 5th grade. Decimals, she introduces decimals first, I believe, and then fractions in part 5B. So yeah, units of measurement. Yeah, there's a lot here. And then at the end of the book, you have the answer key. Okay, so any answer you need is back there. Okay, so I like this. She can write directly on it. I can teach directly from it. We can file it away, come back and review it later if we need to. And there are review sheets at the end of the chapters, which I haven't shown you, but they're in here. And it just makes it easier for me to present mathematics to her. When I'm done with that, like say we did a fractions lesson, then I love that I can go over to my Right Start Math games and I can pull out the fractions, and I keep them all in this big bag. I can pull out the fractions cards and we can work on those. So we haven't gotten to our fractions part of the curriculum yet, but it's in here. It's in here somewhere. And I did show it to you earlier. But yeah, we just pull out the cards and then we work on fractions. So I will have to like give examples of things that we're doing with our cards soon, and you can see how our games are going. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this little brief overview, or this very long overview of Math Mammoth and how we're pairing it with Right Start Math and also with CTC. Thanks for watching. Bye.